without any further ado, I am pleased to announce, ladies and gentlemen, the DC Roller Girls. And number D0A, Obituary. Number 3, Soledad. Number 5, Suki, Slaughterhouse. And at X5, that's an XS, it's Small Fry. H2O, give it up for Hoover Dam. Number 27, Roller Rage Rosie. Number 50, Gunner Down. 202, Condoleezza Slice. 311, Marion Barracuda. 1775, Hooah Girl. 5354, Chinese Checker. And give it up for 89, Dr. Scabs, and 1884, Free Radical. These are the DC Roller Girls.
It is my wonderful pleasure to introduce to you the ladies of the Steel City Steel Hurtin'. Let's start it off with number 5, Hurricane Heather. Number 6, Snot Rocket Science. Number 10, A Taxel Rose. Number 15 is Friction Vixen. Number 20, Madam Abigail. 2P1S, that's the Shocker. Number 25, Allie McKill. Number 58, it's the Crippler. Number 70, J-Bomb. Number 89, she's a mean burrito. Number 412, Girl Roller Warfare. Number 555, it's Whip Smart. The co-captain tonight is number 82, Bone Crusher. And the leader captain of this bunch, number 7, Athena. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for the Steel Hurtin'.
Hello again. This is Justice Feelgood Marshall coming to you from lovely White Plains, New York. We're in the second day of the WFTDA East Regional Playoffs. I'm joined here by Bulldog. Hi, Bulldog.
Hello.
And if you were with us yesterday, we haven't had any seeding upsets so far in this tournament. All 4 of the top 4 seeds will be advancing to the semifinals. That's Gotham, Charm City, Philadelphia, and Boston. Right now we are in the consolation rounds where Steel City is going up against DC. Steel City lost to Charm City yesterday, and DC was defeated by Carolina. So both of these teams 0-1 for the tournament. They will be playing, I believe, 4 games through the course of the tournament. Most of the teams playing 3.
Starting off strong, we've got Suki Slaughterhouse jamming for DC, going up against Hurricane Heather, number 5 for Steel City. Steel City in the yellow, DC in the red. Hurricane Heather moving up the outside. Suki Slaughterhouse getting caught up with Athena and Friction Vixen at the back of the pack, forced wide outside. Here comes Hurricane Heather. She's up at the front. Gunner Down has position. Soledad garden point on the inside. Here comes Hurricane Heather. Now that's a battery operated on the outside of that 3 wall at the front. Now Whip Smart moving in to break it up, trying to help out her jammer. Hurricane Heather's forced wide, but Gunner Down forced out by Whip Smart, and Hurricane Heather able to get back in. Soledad can't stop her. Hurricane Heather gets out first, but not the lead jammer.
So far, still got Suki's now breaking out, and she is lead jammer, and this is probably going to be a quick call, and it is. That is 0-0. as Hurricane Heather was unable to get lead jammer status. Suki, seeing that she was far ahead, called it off to take that tie 0.
And all weekend long, the DNN coverage this weekend is brought to you by Atom Wheels, the official wheel of the women's flat track roller derby. And thank you very much. And Justice, did you hear yesterday? DNN actually achieved its 100% of its goal, $25,000 for the entire tournament season. But that doesn't mean stop contributing, folks. You can still find that contribute button on the main page. Here we got the Crippler jamming for Steel City.
And
that small fry in the back. She gets a whip around Damaged Doll and gets wide to the outside and picks up lead jammer. Nice work by DC. It looks like the Crippler heading to the penalty box, and that's going to put DC on the first power jam of the game. And flying around the track, we've got Small Fry. The pack getting held up. We've got Damaged Doll in the goat pen of DC, and there goes from Small Fry. Friction Vixen gets a small piece of her, but nobody else can touch her. Small Fry with 5 points, grand slam for DC.
And DC doing a really good job right now of goading in the back. They've got Damaged Doll caught up there, and once again, they have got her trapped, and Steel City goes to 20 feet, cannot chase, has to let her go. This is now 10 points for Small Fry. DC on the board first. Damaged Doll still stuck in the back here behind that DC wall. And once again, Small Fry through a small location. And once again, it's going to get another 20-foot call, I think, here in a second. And there it is. She has number 7, he has to let her go.
Smart work by DC. They're at full strength and using it to full advantage. Damaged Doll unable to get through that DC wall. Small Fry moving in on her 4th scoring pass. She forced to the inside, and now at the back of the bus, Damaged Doll gets positioned. The Crippler back in, but she's got a lot of ground to make up. But the Crippler making short work of the pack. Gunner down, has her in her sights, but Crippler somehow slips right between Free Radical and Gunner down and gets out of the pack. But that was only her initial pass. No points for that one. And still the lead jammer, Small Fry, goes ahead and calls it off after another 5 points for DC. A huge jam for DC. How many points was that?
Looks like it was a full 20 on that one, whereas the Crippler could not get around before Small Fry finally cut off that jam.
Did Steel City pick up any points on that first jam?
I don't believe so. I think their jam went to the box.
Oh, that's
right.
That's right. That's right.
Or she.
That's right. Suki Slaughterhouse got out of the pack first, and Hurricane Heather picking up lead jammer called it off, making a scoreless jam. Did anybody drink? It's a little early, maybe.
So right now, this is a pretty significant seeding differential, as DC is the bottom seed in the tournament at seed 10 and Steel City is seed number 5. So DC looking pretty strong here against number 5 seed.
It's not rocket science jamming for Steel City. Marion Barracuda jamming for, also known as Cuda, I heard some fans calling her. Just, although I don't know if that's PG-13. Never mind. We've got Marion Barracuda stuck at the back of the pack, though. Allie McKill, number 25 for Steel City, has solid position on Marion Barracuda, and Marion Barracuda unable to even penetrate the pack. We've got Snot Rocket Science having some trouble of her own. Soledad and Dr. Scabs, team captain, along with Hua Girl, slowing her down. But nice work by Whipsmart. Once again, working point for Steel City and breaking up that 3-wall. Snot Rocket Science breaking through, and lead jammer and first out of the pack. First time for that combination for Steel City in this game.
And right now, we do have Marion Barracuda out of the pack. However, Snot Rocket Science is finishing her first pass, and she will call for a textbook 4-0.
Steel City on the board with 4 points.
It looks like DC was trying to take away Steel City's speed. They have extremely fast jammers on Steel City, especially Hurricane Heather and Snot Rocket Science. So I think what they were trying to do is just slow that pack down and not give them space to accelerate inside the pack, where their speed might be able to beat DC. It worked out pretty good for them there, as they're able to hold her to just a 4-0.
Hurricane Heather back in the jammer position for Steel City, and that is Roller Rage Rosie, actually a Seattle local, well, Bremerton actually, which is right outside of Seattle, about a 45-minute to an hour drive. But she used to be with Slaughter County Roller Vixens. Did you know that?
I did not know that, and now I've learned that.
All right, well, another transfer. She moved to D.C., and now she is actually making her debut appearance at regionals. This is D.C.'s first time, and Slaughter County has not yet made it to regionals yet, so Roller Rage Rosie making her appearance. But, I'm sure she has some fans back in Bremerton who are cheering her on right now. Hurricane Heather still trying to get through the pack. Chinese Checker has position. on point, and there's Free Radical moving in to make a 2-wall at the front, but they are pushing that 20-foot, and there she goes. Hurricane Heather gets out, calls lead jammer. So that's an instant replay almost of that first jam, at least, except it was Sookie Slaughterhouse in the first jam.
Yeah, it looks like DC actually got some points in that. I think they got 4-3 as Not Rocket Science was a little bit slow on calling that jam off. I just want to make a quick correction. DC was in the regionals last year. I think they were also the 10th seed then, and if I'm not mistaken, they won their first against Connecticut, but lost their next two, and they lost to Charm City, and then lost their Constellation bout to Steel City. So this is actually a rematch, I believe, of a Constellation round match from last year. I'll have to double check that to be sure.
All right, so that was a 4-point jam for Hurricane Heather, 8 points to 23 points for DC, but DC still with a pretty nice lead right now. We've got Sookie Slaughterhouse once again jamming for DC, and there goes Snot Rocket Science breaking out first, and for lead jammer getting really low. Nice, a lot of speed on this jammer. Got a classic speed skating position right there. Here comes Sookie Slaughterhouse, though, in a sandwich. Allie McKillen whips Mark, completely trapping her on the inside line, front and back. Sookie Slaughterhouse now at the back of the bus, and Snot Rocket Science finds a wide open outside lane, picks up 5 points for Steel City.
Oh, big crushing sandwich block from Athena, and looks like number 555, that is Whip Smart from Steel City. And here comes Snot Rocket Science round for a second scoring pass. Score currently 23-13. Steel City has a chance to tie this up, but we're going to see Sookie Slaughterhouse get out of the pack and probably not allow a full 10. However, we have a grand slam so far for Snot Rocket Science. We're going to try and pick up a few more here before Sookie Slaughterhouse can get into the pack.
And DC blockers all at the back of the pack, so that is perfect opportunity. And she's going to not pick up any points, not quite making it past Free Radical or Hua Girl Army. That's where that name comes from. Not Ura, not Huya. That's the Marines and the SEALs, respectively. It's Hua. That's Army. All right, we've got Small Fry jumping in again for DC, and that's gonna be the Shocker. Guess what her number is?
I don't want to talk about the Shocker's number.
They actually have 2 skaters with the same first name.
Oh, there you go.
The Shocker and the Crippler. The Shocker at the back of the pack. Small Fry making short work of not quite. No, Friction Vixen catching her at the front of the pack, forcing her inside, and Small Fry has to backpedal to get back in legally. Bone Crusher, not a problem for Small Fry, but Small Fry now has to deal with it. That is Girl Roll Warfare, one of the more unusual names. Haven't figured that one out yet, but Bone Crusher with a nice takeout of Gunner. That is Gunner down. Gunner down, one of the most impressive blockers from yesterday when I saw them playing against Carolina, DC that is. But the Shocker gets out. She is lead jammer, and Small Fry still stuck in the pack.
Small Fry with a really impressive ability to slow down. She's knocked out of bounds. She cuts really sharply to avoid any track cuts. However, right now, she is not through the pack yet, as the Shocker is looking for completing her first scoring pass. Small Fry is out, is not scoring yet. I'm not sure if she was lapped in that pass by the Shocker. If she did get lapped, whoa, Chinese Tech was a nice hit there. If she did get lapped, it's possible that Steel City can tie it up on this one.
Nice work,
calls. And that's 5. That's a tie game right now, 23-23.
Indeed it is, and just 10 minutes in, it's 23-23. Looks like we have Marion Barracuda coming back in, and Hurricane Heather. Hurricane Heather, I was actually looking at this really interesting stats. Hurricane Heather actually is some really impressive numbers, I should say. She's right up there with Bonnie Thunders, actually. Although Steel City, I don't think they've won any major national titles, but Steel City's Hurricane Heather is right up there with Bonnie Thunders on I believe it's points per jam, or average points per jam. Total points, no minimum number of jams. She actually is the number 1, 84 jams, 585 points in 9 bouts, as well as average points per jam. There it is. 7 points per jam on average in 9 bouts, 84 jams total. Awesome.
Lead jammer status right now is with Marion Barracuda. DC is going to try and break this tie and take the lead back, while Hurricane Heather is still stuck in the pack here, looking for a way around Soledad at the front of the pack. Hurricane Heather makes her move. Soledad stays with her, but Hurricane Heather is passed. Meanwhile, though, DC's jammer Marion Barracuda has now been sucked back to the rear of the pack and now is in danger, losing her points here, and calls it, but in time.
Nice tail blocking work by Athena, team captain for Steel City, holding back Marion Barracuda. Marion Barracuda actually, I believe she was one of the top scoring jammers for DC against Carolina yesterday. Some really impressive speed and agility in that jammer. But Athena completely able to shut her down. I don't think Marion Barracuda was able to even penetrate the pack very far.
I think we had a 2-1 for DC on that one, so they did break the tie and get a 1-point lead, but they only able to call before Heather broke in and stole 1 point from the DC pack.
Roller Rage Rosie jumping in there for DC as jammer. We've got the Crippler in for Steel City. Friction Vixen with a nice shoulder check takes out Roller Rage Rosie. The Crippler moving to the front, but we've got a 4-wall, all 4 blockers at the front for DC. There's a Hoova Dam, Gunner down. Now it's a 2-wall. Nice work, Friction Vixen breaking up that 4-wall, and now it's a 2-wall at the front of the pack. Roller Rage Rosie trying to make any headway into the pack, but Girl Roller Warfare, which I may stumble over a couple more times. Girl Roller Warfare holding back Roller Rage Rosie, and now Friction Vixen double teaming. Here comes the Crippler coming around, moving into position for her first scoring pass. She is the lead jammer, so in complete control of this jam right now. Gunner down, has her in her sights, but not fast enough because the Crippler outraces her, gets through the pack. 4 points. Roller Rage Rosie was about halfway around to the pack, but not close enough to make up any points.
So this will get another lead change, or I should say a first lead change, as Steel City is ahead for the first time at 28-25. Just checking back on what we were talking a little bit earlier. This is, in fact, a rematch of the Eastern Regional constellation bout from last year. Steel City beat DC last year 222-56 in the constellation round. This bout so far much closer, but we're only 13 minutes in.
We've got the Shocker back in for Steel City. Free Radical jamming for DC. Once again, Steel City in the yellow, DC in the red. Both jammers hit the point right behind one another, but the Shocker finding an open outside lane. Obituary unable to stop her, and that is the Shocker's lead jammer. Free Radical, though, right behind. We've got a pretty sparse pack, 3-on-2 right now. Steel City with 2 blockers in the penalty box. DC with 1 blocker in the penalty box, so 3-on-2 advantage DC, but the Shocker in the lead with lead jammer.
I think DC's got all 4 out there right now, so it is a 4-2 pack, as the Shocker is going to be coming up on a not much help in the pack.
Oh, there's battery operated back in the pack once again. That's the 2AA, 2AA battery operated.
Bops.
Now heading to the penalty box. No, wait a minute. She was on the penalty box path. There she goes. Yes, she was going to the penalty box. Sometimes they actually go wide to the outside to go back to their bench, though. You got to watch that. All right, Marion Barracuda back, stepping back in for, Small Fry. Similar size. Small Fry jamming for DC, and that is not rocket science for Steel City.
It's not rocket science is going to some jammer-on-jammer defense, as I believe she's trying to get her own blockers out of the box, as right now DC still holds that pack advantage, now 3-2. However, both jammers enter the pack, and now it's Gunner down one-on-one. It's not rocket science. Gunner down cannot get the hip check on Snot Rocket Science, and Snot Rocket is out. And Small Fry is still stuck now behind a wall of 4 in the back, and somehow finds a way through that. However, back in the pack now and scoring. It's Snot Rocket Science, 1 to beat. It's Gunner down, and Chinese Checker knocks her out, but goes out of bounds with her. Oh, and Checker again. And that's going to be a 4-0 for Steel City, as they have now increased their lead to 9. It's 34-25, favoring Steel City just about 15 minutes ago in the first half.
All right, this is Marion Barracuda out there. You can tell they're almost the same size, but Marion Barracuda has blue tights, or blue spankies. A Small Fry, of course, with the silver spankies. But it looks like DC's Chinese Checker in the penalty box along with Battery Operated. Battery Operated served about 30 seconds or so of her penalty already. So she's going to be, she's almost finished. She's standing up now, less than 10 seconds. Marion Barracuda matched up against the Crippler. The Crippler hits the pack first, escorted through the back of the pack by Athena. Dr. Scabs and Pua Girl unable to stop her. Crippler dodging around, picks up lead jammer. Here comes the Marion Barracuda. Marion Barracuda still at the back of the pack. Now, makes a little bit of headway. Allie McKill screened off by battery operated, but Marion Barracuda forced wide to the outside, has to start over. And there's the Crippler making her way on her first scoring pass. It's Dr. Scabs and Hua Girl once again trying to stop her on that 2-all on point. But the Crippler making her way and just muscling her way past Dr. Scabs. No, not quite. She did muscle her way, but she got some forearm action. She's going to the penalty box, major forearm, and that's going to put Marion Barracuda on the power jam, but has yet to get into the back and through. And also, the Crippler was lead jammer, so we were going to go the whole 2 minutes here.
Cuda having a lot of trouble with that blocker Athena from Steel City, one of their most effective players out there in the pack. This is a second power jam for DC, but as you said, right now, Cuda has not yet scored points. And we're waiting to see if Steel City's points have not been put on the board yet, as their jammer went to the box during a pass.
And getting called a back block on Cuda, and so we may see a jammer switch out. The Crippler has been in there for a little while. I think it's only been about half a minute, though, but we'll see. Marion Barracuda approaching the penalty box, and there goes with the switch out. So looks like Marion Barracuda is going to have most of the minute. Probably just a ballpark figure. The Crippler, though, now on the power jam and quickly finishes up that last scoring pass and picks up a 5-point grand slam.
And now DC's going to try and run. Unfortunately, Hua Girl fell down and almost got pinned. Luckily for Hua Girl, the jam ends right before the Crippler would have scored her point.
Oh, don't let her hear you say hoo-ha.
Does that say Hua Girl? Oh, dear. It's early. I apologize.
Yeah, she's Army. You say wrong. You go to a SEALs camp and you say hoo-ha. They will bust you in the face and kick you right out, man. You go to the Marines and say hoo-ah or hoo-ya for that matter. No, in the Marines it's hoorah. In the SEALs it's hoo-ya. And in the Army it's hoo-ah.
I did not serve in the military. That's hard to believe. But I don't. I'm not a veteran.
I was in ROTC in high school.
Is that so?
That's right.
So right now I think we're in timeout for DC. Is being charged with timeout right now.
Yeah, you know what that means, though. That means I know how to tie a few knots. And I know the front and the back end of a ship. Bow and stern for those of you paying attention at home.
So right now, Steel City has got a 14-point lead.
That's right. We've got a timeout going. And very quickly, our Day 2 sponsor is Flat Track Revolution. So we'd like to thank them for producing the awesome gifts we've been sending out to our contributors. Your Every Revolution Needs a Live Stream shirts, jackets, and tote bags will be on the way shortly if you haven't already received them. If you love the Every Revolution artwork and you want to see more, check them out at flattrackrevolution.com. The revolution shall be worn.
But not televised.
That's right.
Streamed.
Hurricane Heather back in, and only one blocker starting out on the track. That was battery operated, standing up in the penalty box. So that left two seats available. So DC in dire straits. Hoover Dam, the only blocker standing on the track at the start of the jam. Hurricane Heather makes very short work of the pack with 4-on-2 advantage for Steel City, and Hurricane Heather is the lead jammer.
It's 4-on-1 right now as DC's box almost was overfilled right there as Bops, battery operated, the only DC block out there momentarily. Hoover Dam has come back to help and is trying to make a hole for Marion Barracuda. Meanwhile, though, Hurricane Heather already has 5 points for Steel City, coming for more, as a wall of black and gold is all around Marion Barracuda. It's now Bone Crusher and Friction and Bixen, Damage Doll working over in the pack. Hurricane Heather is back, goes on the outside, 5 more points for Steel City. Steel City now on a roll, and they're now up 49-25. They've almost doubled up DC right now, as Kuda's looking for a way around Friction Bixen and Damage Doll. Still nowhere to go. Forced to the outside. Here comes Hurricane Heather coming for her, I believe, third scoring pass. Hops around the inside, goes around the outside, and 5 more points. Now Steel City in the driver's seat right now, as Marion Barracuda needs some help from her 2 blockers.
I think that was technically a hop, skip, and a jump through the pack. picking up that third 5-point scoring pass for Hurricane Heather. Steel City, and all the way back around again. Steel City still with a 4-on-2 pack advantage. And that's going to be 20 points picked up so far by Hurricane Heather.
And still 25 seconds left in this jam. This could be a 25 or possibly more if Steel City slows this pack down. Hurricane Heather with very good footwork to stay right on the edge of that straightaway on the last pass. Goes on the outside this time, cannot stay in bounds. Will cut one. DC wanted a major cut, but she'll probably lose 1 point there.
It would have been a major cut, except that the other blocker, Chinese checker, actually moved in front before she came back in. So only actually cut one. It was a very close call, though. But I think the referees got that one right. Only a minor cutting. And so fortunate for Steel City.
So she gets 15, then 3, and then 4. So addition means that's 22 points, I believe. Unless it was 20 and then 3 and then 4. In any case, it was a whole lot of points that Steel City got on that last pass.
Steel City opening up the difference here, 66-25 right now, showing on the board. Less than 10 minutes left in the first half. Roller Rage Rosie facing off against the Crippler. Roller Rage Rosie screened off by Athena with a big shoulder lean. I don't know if that's even a check. She just muscled her out, and there goes the Crippler making short work of the pack once again. Now, no pack advantage right now. Both teams at full strength. No, the penalty box empty, but the Crippler nevertheless picking up lead jammer. And Roller Rage Rosie now trying to get past Allie McKill. She does, and she sees daylight. Helped through by Gunner Down, but Gunner Down hits that 20-foot mark. The Crippler gets a free pass, calls off the jam, 5 points for Steel City.
And that was, in fact, a 27-point jam, so I was 5 points off the last time. So it's a big hit from Hurricane Heather on that one.
All right, and where you, I'm sure you were watching the North Central Regional, so you know that there's a new record for the most points scored in a single jam.
Indeed.
Of course, Racer McChaser picking up 32 points at North Central Regionals in a single jam. Just a little trivia there for you.
Was that the game against North Star, I believe?
I believe so, yes. That was a consolation bout, actually. It's not rocket science going up against Free Radical. It's not rocket science getting a whip off of Friction Vixen, but DC is there. Obituary, battery operated, and Dr. Scabs on point, but it's not rocket science manages to get, once again with the help of Friction Vixen. This Texas transfer has been invaluable. Friction Vixen has actually bounced around quite a bit, hasn't she?
Yes.
What other leagues has she been with?
Started in Denver and then went to Austin for a little while, so she's played for both Denver Roller Dolls and Texas Roller Girls.
And now with Steel City and making a major impression out there. And Free Radical just completely screened off once again by Friction Vixen, number 15 for Steel City. Dr. Scabs heading to the penalty box, so Steel City is once again going to enjoy a pack advantage, 4-on-3 against DC. DC in the red, Steel City in the yellow. It's not rocket science, gets screened off a battery operated. Bone Crusher tries to screen her off a battery operated, recovers, and now back in front of Snot Rocket Science and giving her a lot of trouble. Snot Rocket Science breaks free of battery operated. Obituary only gets a glancing blow. 4 points picked up as Snot Rocket exits the pack, and that ends the jam.
So as of right now, DC only has 25 points. We recall on the second jam of the game, they had a 20-0. So that means that Steel City has really been locking down on them. Take out that jam, or take out that one jam, and we're looking at an 80-5 game. So Steel City, after a kind of a little bit slow start, is now really putting the hurt down on DC.
The Shocker facing off against Cuda, Marion Barracuda of DC. The pack gets a quick start. No, I haven't seen many slow starts today. The Crippler moving wide to the outside. Gunner Down screens her off as point. We've got Suki Slaughterhouse. Oh, Gunner Down taking a spill, but Suki Slaughterhouse. Back blocking called on the Shocker. Hey, she's heading to the penalty box, and that's going to give a break to DC. Cuda gets on the power jam, and we're looking at lead jammer for DC.
The Shocker did not seem to agree with that call. It looked like her blocker may have lost her footing in front of her. However, Small Fry is now lead jammer for DC, and DC really needs this one as they have fallen behind by now 80-25. And there's the first scoring pass, 5 points for DC. But DC just fly into the penalty box right now as they've got, once again, only one on the track right now. That's, I believe it's Hoover Dam She will not be joined by Dr. Scabs out of the box.
That's right. I don't mistake Hoover Dam for anyone else. Small fry now on a scoring pass. Athena has position on the outside, but there's a solid 3-wall. That's Madam Abigail and Girl Roll of Warfare. Unable to stop her, trying to muscle her to the outside, but Small Fry just pops out. Comes out for 5 points for DC. A very small pack here, as we've got 3 blockers out there for Steel City, 2 blockers out there for DC. Small Fry, what happened there? Is she moving up the inside and then just slipped, or did someone catch her?
Oh, I think what happened there, Small Fry jumped to the apex, landed on the infield, and slid in the front of the pack. So when she stood up, that's when she got the track cut, and she has sent off. And coming back from the box is the Shocker.
That's right. The Shocker actually was released from the penalty box before Small Fry went there. So Small Fry is going to be the full minute on that penalty. Suki Slaughterhouse, though, coming back, much-needed blocker, but time runs out. 5 points by the Shocker with a 3-on-2 pack advantage from Steel City. But we're going to start out with 1 blocker in the no. It looks like both blockers were released from the penalty box before the end of that jam for DC. So it's going to be Athena in the penalty box, but Steel City on the power jam with Small Fry in the penalty box.
Looks like we got a referee timeout. I'll take this moment to thank the WFTDA knockdown sponsor, Dr. Hauschka, the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. Also, if you're in the area, you may have been out with Sailor Jerry's rum last night. Stewed, screwed, and tattooed for you from Sailor Jerry's rum. Also, the official sponsor is Rydell, the official skate of the WFTA. If you're in the area, stop by Rydell to check out derby skates made for the extreme conditions of today's roller derby. And, of course, Atom Wheels, the official wheel of the WFTDA. Go to atomwheels.com, check out the all-new Juke 2.0. Better roll, better grip, second to none. The preferred wheel of the 2009 WFTDA champion, Oli Rollers. Also, I have a question for you, Bulldog. Does your hiney need to be shiny?
Absolutely.
If so, check out Derby Skins, derbyskins.com for your hiney.
Fabulous.
And we want to not have our writing pencils fall off the table. Also want to thank our additional sponsors, Wicked Skatewear. If you need something to wear on DNN Appreciation Day, which is October 1st, first day of Westerns, and Hurt Reynolds' birthday, visit wickedskatewear.com, the official outfitter of the Derby News Network. 5on5 Magazine, the official magazine of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Subscribe now at 5on5mag.com. Sin City Skates, the original Derby and Owen skate shop. Also, DNN's very first sponsor. Buy skates from a skater. Tricks the Dish and Ivana Spankin are both here. And
Dominatrix, I think, as well.
And Dominatrix is not here, but she will be at Westerns. Dominatrix is one of my best buddies in Derby. You can check them all out at sincityskates.com. But wait, there's more. There's more Derby. So, still in the box is DC's jammer, Small Fry.
Small Fry, that's right.
Yeah, so this jam will start with an advantage for the Crippler as Steel City's jammer.
The unmistakable Small Fry against the Crippler. The Crippler at the back of the pack. That's a damaged doll screening off battery operated. Soledad at the front of the pack. Nice shoulder check. Just keeping the Crippler in check. Nice work, but they're moving too far ahead, 20 foot. And now the Crippler actually able to get in front of all 3 blockers because they were ruled out of play. And she is the lead jammer. Obituary heading to the penalty box. No, sorry, Dr. Scabs heading to the penalty box. Obituary still on the track. Number DOA for DC. DC in the red, Steel City in the yellow.
DC with a good job holding this front wall right now, but here comes Steel City trying to absorb it. And that is exactly how you break up a front wall there. As DC's red was all together for a second there and just got separated. However, out of the box, Small Fry manages to get through the chaos almost untouched.
Yeah, that's how you break up a wall? You basically just send Friction Vixen in there.
Right.
All right, so what's the situation? We've got 1 skater in the penalty box. No, 2. Soledad, she is moving in there, so it's going to be... Oh, looks like we may have a little bit... There it is. Okay, we actually had 3 blockers out there, but Soledad and Dr. Scabs in the penalty box for DC. So a couple of last-minute change-ups. Now we've got a Chinese checker and Gunner down, but it's 4-on-2 advantage Steel City. It's not rocket science jamming for Steel City, and that is Marion Barracuda. That's the jammer for DC. I was so excited that I didn't call her small fry. Athena just leaning on. That was a hip lean. Marion Barracuda just completely overwhelmed by Athena. And now a four wall. Yes, all four Steel City blockers screening off Marion Barracuda, and there goes Not Rocket Science. She is the lead jammer, and that was a 5-point scoring pass, and this pack almost at a standstill. Marion Barracuda barely even able to move. She's completely getting smothered by Steel City.
Yeah, right now it looks like DC needs to get on Athena because Marion Barracuda's having no luck right now with her by herself. Gunner down, tries to do it. Marion Barracuda, I think, takes a track cut purposely right there. It took a minor to get her on Athena, and it's still stuck. And here comes once again from the back of the pack, Steel City's jammer, Not Rocket Science. Is going to come around for yet more points. Steel City's going to break 100, I think, on this one. And there they do. They break the century mark as the period time is now counting at about 2 minutes. Cuda off to the box. Power jam for Steel City, and nobody saw Not Rocket Science at all the inside line. And every single person in DC is in the box. Okay,
Dr.
Scabs. Scabs is all alone.
Dr. Scabs started in the box. Now she's back on the track. But Chinese checker sent to the box, but now waved off. So it is 4. But nice presence of mind. Dr. Scabs read the situation, and she quickly gets to the front of the back and speeds up. And bad news. Oh, no. Dr. Scabs sent to the penalty box. So now two blockers in the penalty box and the jammer for DC, and both blockers on the track, both a penalty. So we have 5 skaters that belong in the penalty box right now for DC.
Yeah, the definition of a nightmare jam for DC is pretty much everybody was either going to the box or coming out of it or waiting to go to it during that jam.
And we have battery operated and Hua Girl coming out, but neither one of them really. Unless I'm mistaken, Chinese checker should be going to the box because Soledad is standing up.
Yeah, not surprised to see a referee timeout right now. The referees have a lot to figure out with the penalty queue for DC right now.
Okay, so should have Dr. Scabs on the track, but owing a penalty. Soledad standing up in the penalty box, and Chinese checker and Gunner down sitting in the penalty box at the beginning of the jam. So what was that you were saying about a nightmare?
Yeah, and we just heard on the house announce here, that was a 30-point jam for Not Rocket Science. So it's a 27-point jam for Hurricane Heather, 30-point jam for Not Rocket Science. And this jam is probably not going to go very well for DC either, as their blockers will be waiting to go into the box.
DC with a very strong start, actually opening up a reasonable lead in front of Steel City, but Steel City bouncing right back. Does Steel bounce? Well, this Steel does, and it looks like we have a new jammer for Steel City, Mean Burrito, number 89, if I'm not mistaken.
So Dr. Scabs stands alone out on the track for DC. DC's box is over full as one is standing, and Scabs is basically just waiting to be sent to the box.
That's right. Nice work. Steel City just immediately comes out. Dr. Scabs was holding back. It looked like she was trying to get that slow start and give Soledad time to get onto the box. But Steel City just took off. Immediately got a no pack, a split. No, we were calling it no pack.
Right. That was a really smart move by Steel City. Didn't have to wait for Scabs to cross the line as soon as they split, or as soon as they destroyed the pack.
That's right, and that's really all you have to do. Just start skating forward. And it's really hard for the referees to assign blame if one team never moves. There's never an established pack. So one team moves, the other team stands still. It's hard to even assign a penalty to any one skater or a team, for that matter.
So that jam does go pretty quickly, and I think that's going to be the halftime. Waiting to see if that is in fact yes. It is halftime. Steel City up by almost 100 points right now, 124-38, with DC really getting killed by penalties in the last half of the half. After jumping out to a 20-0 lead to start, it has been almost all Steel City since then.
But once again, you are watching the WFTDA East Region Playoffs on viewer-supported, volunteer-powered DerbyNewsNetwork.com. And thanks to viewers like you, we just reached our 2010 core fundraising goal of $25,000. Without your generous contributions, we couldn't bring you the live coverage you're watching today. Thank you for being a part of viewer-supported DerbyNewsNetwork.com. And all weekend long, our presenting sponsor, Adam Wheels, helping to bring you this live Derby action at the East Regional Playoffs. Adam Wheels introduces the all-new Juke 2.0, now available with either nylon or alloy hubs. Juke 2.0 is cut to the same low 59mm height preferred by the reigning champions of roller derby, the Ole Rollers. You can check them out at adamwheels.com.
All right, going to kick it over to our production man, Gnosis, for a little commercial off to you. And we'll see you in about 10 minutes for the second half of Steel City versus DC.
Grand Slam, Bruce City.
They say we don't do enough. We don't stock enough skates, especially the bargain basement variety. We don't carry inlines or know the best place to get them. We don't have every package from every manufacturer. They say all these things. Yet every day we measure your feet. We study your stance and tailor your fit. We mount your plates and answer your questions. We build skates that make you fly. We're not here for them. We're here for you. And we want to make you go really, really fast. Make them catch up. Visit us online at fastgirlskates.com.
All right, we're about 2 minutes away from returning to action here. Once again, you're watching coverage of the 2010 WFTDA East Regional Playoffs in White Plains, New Jersey on DerbyNewsNetwork.com. My name is Justice Feelgood Marshall, and to my right is Bulldog. What a nice guy, that Bulldog. I want to talk a little bit about the stats from the first half. Snot Rocket Science leading Steel City with 57 points. Not only that, DC has been unable to score a single point when Snot Rocket Science has been jamming, so a 57-point jam point differential. On the other side of the track, it's Small Fry basically is the entire offense for DC, as she has 33 of DC's 38 points. And also, interestingly, Steel City has been outscored by 15 points when Small Fry is the jammer, which is really a critical stat right there. Marion Barracuda not having a very good game for DC. She's only scored 2 points, has been outscored by 70. Roller Rage Rosie, 3 points for DC. Suki Slaughterhouse.
We are coming down to the
30-second
one.
have not scored in 2 jams each for DC. And also for Steel City, it's Hurricane Heather with 32 points, the Shocker with 12, the Crippler with 18, and Mean Burrito in 1 jam picked up 5 points.
Well, that's not rocket science. Actually, 57 unanswered points. Is that what I'm seeing there?
That's correct. She
That
has
is
outscored her opponents by 57 points and scored 57 points.
That means that every single point she has scored has been a positive differential. That's an impressive stat right there.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive for blocking as well.
Yeah.
Really nice work by Steel City controlling DC. But DC kind of also lending a helping hand. They have been making a steady stream to the penalty box, especially in the last few jams of that first half. So rough going, very much so for DC. Looked like they had a strong start. That actually, most of those 33 points, I think, by Small Fry in the first few jams, like the first couple of times she got up to jam. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was the 20-0 jam with the second jam for Small Fry that put DC in the lead early. But since then, it's been pretty much all Steel City. You can see on your screen right now, Steel City looking pretty relaxed on their bench.
Yeah, a false sense of security by Steel City, do you think?
It would be hard to call it false right now, but we've got half an hour to play, so we'll see.
Well, we've got the Crippler coming in for Steel City. Steel City in the yellow, DC in the red, and Suki Slaughterhouse setting up to jam. And it looks like we do have the powerhouse Friction Vixen, and one of the most experienced skaters on the track right now, if I'm not mistaken. But she is in the penalty box for Steel City, but Steel City with 2 blockers in the penalty box. Gunner down and Soledad, the only blockers on the track, doing a nice job of holding back the Crippler. Suki Slaughterhouse trying to get past Athena, but Athena has just been a immovable object the entire game. In fact, we saw Kuda towards the end of the last jam actually taking a minor cutting just to get around this one-woman wall of a skater. But finally, after a lot of effort, Suki Slaughterhouse breaking out and picking up lead jammer. So another strong start so far for DC.
Now I've got the Crippler got around Soledad. However, it's probably going to be a 4-0 for DC. There it is. Suki calls after finishing her scoring pass. And DC gets back on the board first to start the second half.
And doing it with a 4-2 pack disadvantage right now in that first jam. But they're going to settle for 4 points, but any positive differential right now is going to make DC happy. And that is Small Fry stepping up to jam for DC, going up against the Shaka. I'm making a hand gesture, but you can't see it.
Very slow start to this pack right now, as the Bone Crusher has no interest in starting this pack. He stands there as the pivot for Steel City comes out of the box.
Well, you want to have, anytime you can have Friction Vixen in the pack, you want to do whatever it takes to get her there. But Small Fry, once again, finding an opening and getting out. Whip Smart in the penalty box for Steel City, the only person in the penalty box. So that's going to be 4-on-3 pack advantage for DC. The Shocker finally getting out of the pack, but Small Fry all the way around. Nice work, but Damage Doll hip check takes Small Fry to the outside.
That was a really nice move by Damage Doll. She was looking the other way, and I think sort of baited Small Fry and trying to pass on the outside. And when she tried to go, they got nothing but a big hip from Damage Doll to put on the outside. she will call with, I believe, 4. So not bad for DC. They got a 2-4-0 jam to start off the second half.
That's right. And now Kuda coming in for DC. And she's going to be facing off. Is that Snot Rocket Science?
I believe so.
She blends in a little bit with the table, right? That's for the announcers. That's right behind her. But I believe that is Snot Rocket Science. Yes, Snot Rocket Science. Definitely. Number 6 for Steel City. Another slow start with the only blocker in the penalty box, Whip Smart, though. Oh, now she's standing up, so pays off for Steel City. Slow start. Snot Rocket Science slams into Hoover Dam and gunnered down on the 2 wall at the front for DC. And now it's just bodies flying everywhere. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Hit the sport court. And there goes Marion Barracuda. We're saying hasn't had a very good first half, but right now she's your lead jammer, whereas Snot Rocket Science is caught behind Hoover Dam, Pre-Radical, and I think it's gunnered down as well.
Snot Rocket Science, she worked for that one, but gets out, but half a lap behind Kuda. Kuda is the lead jammer, so third time in a row, DC getting the lead jammer status. So an instant replay. And, Snot Rocket Science does manage to clip 1 point. Free Radical just trailing, but it looked like she was trapped, surrounded by all 4 Steel City blockers. And that's 1 point for Steel City. First point on the board in the second half.
Yeah, good job by Snot Rocket Science to keep fighting and go at top speed until that 4th whistle.
Roller Rage Rosie facing off against the Crippler, number 58 for Steel City. Roller Rage Rosie once again. Slaughter County Roller Vixens. Slaughterhouse, of course, Greeley, Colorado. Slaughter County Roller Vixens, Bremerton, Washington. The Shocker. I'm sorry, the Crippler. Those first names, you know. The Crippler still at the back of the pack. Bone Crusher trying to open up a hole for Jammer. The Crippler now finding a way partially into the back, but Dr. Scabs cuts her off. Bone Crusher comes in with a pulse-pounding shoulder check. Dr. Scabs recovers, and Roller Rage Rosie up to the front, screened off by Damaged Doll, but Damaged Doll knocked out by Dr. Scabs, but nevertheless damage done. Roller Rage Rosie at the back of the pack, and the Crippler just getting clobbered. Obituary doing the honors.
DC's defense looking a lot better in this half so far. I don't know if there were some halftime adjustments, but they are definitely sticking to that jammer a lot more. And as I say that, there goes the jammer as the Crippler is through. However, lead jammer once again belongs to DC, and a Roller Rage Rosie is going to have some time here to put on some points before the Crippler can enter the pack.
So far, 4 different jammers from DC and 4 times lead jammer. So DC fighting. They must have had some kind of locker room talk. I'll tell you what, DC coming out swinging as she's going to pick up 2 points only. Only 2 points, but you know what? Unanswered points. Another positive differential. 4 in a row. 4 in a row, but Steel City did manage to pick up that 1 point in the last jam, but only 1 point in 4 jams so far. So Steel City with a very slow start in the second half.
That's right. So we've got DC on a 4-0, 4-0, 4-1 to 2-0 run. I want to thank again our man Nate and Miranda Wright for giving us these live stats. They're really helping us out with this coverage here.
And we've got Sookie Slaughterhouse jamming once again. So the first repeat in the second half of a jammer for DC. Sookie Slaughterhouse at the back of the pack. Athena and Whipsmart on the 2 wall at the rear. There goes Snot Rocket Science. Finds an opening on the outside. Gets past Gunner down with a little help from Mally McKill. And picks up the lead jammer for the first time in the second half for Steel City.
Down goes Free Rad Hard there as a blocker. And now out of the pack is Sookie Slaughterhouse. But this is going to be plenty of time for Snot Rocket Science. Get around Gunner down and Condoleezza Slice for a textbook 4-0.
Snot Rocket Science. So it looks like actually picking up 4 points. I believe that was 4 points for Steel City. So Conan the Vegetarian out there. That's jam ref for Steel City this half.
One of the finest names in Derby.
The Shaka back out there against Small Fry. There goes the first whistle in the pack, not wasting any time. We've got DC with the obituary she's not the obituary, she's just obituary in the penalty box for DC. The Shocker slams into Hua Girl and falls down at the back of the pack. But and the insult to injury, she's heading to the penalty box. That's going to be a back blocking.
Yeah, major back block called by Conan there. So Power Jam goes to DC. However, Friction Vixen, Oliver Small Fry there, forced her out of bounds. Small Fry still on the opening pass, not yet scoring. Going to try and find a way through here. Not a lot of space here with Bone Crusher, Friction Vixen, Damage Doll, and J-Bomb, I believe.
J-Bomb, number 70 for Steel City.
And DC having trouble breaking up that yellow wall.
Solid yellow wall in the front. Damage Doll, J-Bomb, and Bone Crusher. 3-wall. Friction Vixen heading to the penalty box. She was mixing things up. Soledad taking out J-Bomb on the outside, but for Small Fry still hung up with Bone Crusher and Damage Doll. Now finally gets an opening, gets a free pass rather at the end of the engagement zone and picks up lead jammer once again. So 4 out of 5 times for, or is it 5 out of 6? 5 out of 6 for DC lead jam calls and still on the power jam. But there's the Shocker standing up in the penalty box. So most of that, almost a complete power kill by Steel City. But now Small Fry with a quick move to the outside gets right around Bone Crusher and Damage Doll, picking up 5 points for DC.
It looks like DC did a pretty good job of holding off J-Bomb there, pinning her away so she could not help her blockers. And Small Fry is so good at going right up the inside line because she's, well, you know, small and can fit there. So that's going to be a 5-0 jam to DC's Small Fry. And DC continues to be successful in this half so far. After being down really big in the first half, they currently looks like a 19-5 run for DC over the first 6 jams of the second half.
It's not rocket science lining up for Steel City. I saw there's Kuda lining up for DC. She was behind the jammer line, but now consulting with her blocker. So DC working some strategy during this official timeout. And a quick thank you to Flat Track Revolution. They are our day 2 sponsor. Second day of the East Regionals tournament here in sunny. Where the heck are we?
Sunny White Plains.
White Plains, New York. Yeah.
It's always sunny in White Plains.
I haven't really been outside that much.
Yeah.
Is it sunny?
It may have been at some point. Who knows?
They have some of the most confusing directions here. The directions to get here is follow Tarrytown, but the road is so twisty, we got lost twice. Oh, wait, never mind. That's a Flat Track Revolution, our day 2 sponsor. Seriously, the revolution shall be worn. But here we go. It's not rocket science. The lead jammer for Steel City.
Looks like Kuda's having an escape problem. Marion Barry Kuda, the jammer for DC, had to remove herself from play, talk to the referees for a moment, and is now skating. She's still skating. So she's
toe stop possibly. She tossed something to her bench, but obviously not a safety issue, or else the referee would have directed her off the track. But it did look like it looked small enough to be a toe stop. I think the right toe stop came off. I don't see one on there, but it's not rocket science taking full advantage of this misfortune on the part of DC, and Kuda locked up in the back. Allie McKill and Athena from Steel City holding her back and now stumbling. And here comes that. Now, Not Rocket Science went to the penalty box, but popped right back out.
It looks like what happened was that the jam rep sent somebody else to the penalty box. She calls her, and he waved her back on the track. So no penalty assigned to Not Rocket Science.
Just a little bit of miscommunication. It happens sometimes, and it's a controlled chaos out there. That's one way to describe roller derby. And we've got Not Rocket Science. I think she got a 4 and a 5 in the time it took us to describe that what happened. So waved off to the penalty box, but not slowing her down at all. 9 points very quickly, and I think only 3 laps of the track. The Steel City blockers doing a great job controlling the pack, slowing things down, and Kuda is nowhere to be seen. Oh, there she is. That's right, surrounded by yellow.
Exactly. So that's a big one for Steel City. Looks like an 18-0 jam for Not Rocket Science, almost erasing all of DC's gains this half.
That's right. So Steel City looking like they're getting right back into the driver's seat. DC once again in the first half coming out strong in the first 4 or 5 jams, and then Steel City just putting the pedal to the metal and taken off and not looking back. DC now looks like a possible repeat of the first half.
Looks like a timeout is being assigned. Unclear on which team has taken it right now. I think it's Steel City. Yes, timeout Steel City.
Okay, well, maybe do a better job this time. But seriously, Flat Track Revolution, our sponsor for day 2 here in White Plains, New York. I actually should write that down. Your Every Revolution needs a live stream. Shirts, jackets, and tote bags will be on the way shortly if you haven't already received them. And if you love the Every Revolution artwork and you want to see more, check them out at flattrackrevolution.com. The revolution shall be worn. Team timeout right now. It's taken by Steel City. Steel City, of course, they actually had a nice jam there, but it was partially aided by some small technical difficulties by Kuda. So far, they were getting pummeled there quite a bit. Got a little bit of luck there, really, but I think they were probably just want to sort things out and and maybe possibly take away some of that momentum that DC's had this half. Because really, even though Snot Rocket did pick up an 18-point jam, it's with the momentum that DC had in this first half, it's possible that it was just a fluke. DC may have gone to the locker room and had that classic Rudy speech.
Now it's Hurricane Heather up against Roller Rage Rosie. Roller Rage Rosie finds the inside line, and she is a lead jammer as Hurricane Heather gets stuck behind. I believe that it's, I want to say Obituary.
As Hoover Dam at the back of the pack, battery operated as well on the 2-wall. Athena dropping back to try and break up that 2-wall.
Athena.
Roller Rage Rosie and Athena collide coming out of turn 2. Both skaters going down. Roller Rage Rosie was going so fast, but that was a clean hit from both skaters. That was hip-on-hip connection. No penalties assessed that I saw, although it is not unusual to see a penalty assigned for that. But is Roller Rage Rosie actually? It looked like she was limping a little bit. Possibly got a nice bruise on her. Hitting Athena like that, it's got to leave a mark.
And there's a power jam for DC now, so DC is now in the driver's seat for this jam at least, as Roller Rage Rosie now has 5 points, finishes her second scoring pass. It's 10 for DC so far. She's going to go for more. She's got 45 seconds here to pick up some more points for DC.
Allie McKill trapped in the DC goat pen, and Athena dropping back to try and help her out, but now stuck behind Hoover Dam, slowing down the pack. But Friction Vixen pops out of the penalty box and comes right in and hip checks Roller Rage Rosie, knocking her out of bounds, and Roller Rage Rosie comes back in front of Whip Smart, and she's going to go to the penalty box for a major cutting, and that is maybe a jammer switch out, Hurricane Heather right now.
I think Friction Vixen might have gotten a little lucky on that one for not getting a penalty for blocking from out of bounds. He was coming back from the penalty box, made a beeline for the jammer upon entering the track, hit Roller Rage Rosie and forced that track out eventually.
But so quick, and she lined it up perfectly. But that's that experience showing Friction Vixen out there. What can you say about Friction Vixen? Denver Roller Dolls followed by the Texas Roller Girls. I mean, that's like a who's who list of Western teams. And here's Friction Vixen out here with Steel City, and now just making her mark on the DC Roller Girls. But so far, it's been all DC in the second half, with one exception, possibly with a lucky break when Barry Kuda had some skate difficulties.
So right now, it looks like we're in a official timeout. We can see in front of us here some of the teams that are playing later today are starting to come in. Charm City has now taken up position in front of us to watch this game. Earlier, I saw some of the Dutchland girls. They'll be playing next against Montreal.
Charm City, is that a roller derby league?
Yes, they're from Baltimore, Maryland, as a matter of fact. It's because
Never
Baltimore is so charming.
Marshall. Justice Feelgood Marshall, of course, from the Charm City. And Charm City in the semifinals today. Who are they facing in the first game?
They'll be playing Gotham at 2 p.m. That will not be an easy bout.
No, that's one way to put it. That is one way to put it, indeed. Yeah, we've got Roller Rage Rosie standing up in the penalty box as jammer for DC. The Crippler right now on the power jam. But Condoleezza Slice and Chinese Checker and Gunner down on the 3-wall at the front, slowing her down. Finally breaking out, but just as Roller Rage Rosie comes out of the penalty box.
That's right, and it looks like Steel City is going to try and form a wall here, but it's only one to beat right now for Rosie.
Damaged Doll, but she does the job, and now Bone Crusher manages to get in front, and then J-Bomb following up, some nice water falling. Damaged Doll to Bone Crusher to J-Bomb, and Friction Vixen didn't even have to get into the mix that time. Roller Rage Rosie at the back of the bus, now J-Bomb on tail blocker positions, screening Roller Rage Rosie trying to move up the inside. Meanwhile, we've got the Crippler moving in on a scoring pass, and she is the lead jammer, so Steel City in control right now. And she's going to call off that jam. 5 points for Steel City and 0 points for Roller Rage Rosie and the DC Roller Girls.
So right now, looks like we've got about 15 minutes left in the game. Steel City looking to be pretty much in the driver's seat. They've been up by about 90 since halftime. Even though that lead has sort of ebbed and flowed as DC has had a better second half. Right now it's still Steel City sitting in that 80 to 90 point margin.
That's right. I mean, it's kind of difficult to say Steel City's been getting lucky when they, after that second half, the last 20 minutes of the first half, rather. The last 20 minutes of the first half, they were just completely 100% dominant.
Yes, absolutely.
Over DC, and they're just racking up points. So, I mean, they've got a sizable lead still. But DC, with valiant effort, and here comes Suki Stackhouse. And, I mean, this is I think, 7 lead jams out of 9. Or, I may be off by 1 there. But just DC just breaking out over and over again, picking up lead jammer once again. Half a lap behind the Shocker for Steel City, but Suki Slaughterhouse moving into the pack in scoring position. Athena catches her at the back of the pack, but goes out of bounds. And now Suki Slaughterhouse going to call it off. 3-2. So nice work by the Shocker. Getting into the pack, slipping in, sneaking in, really, and getting past one DC Roller Girl with Hua Girl in the penalty box. That's going to be a 3-2 decision, but still a +1 differential for DC.
Actually, I think it was Steel City got the better part of that one. It looks like they had the 3-2. So it looks like Suki was just a little bit too slow in calling that jam with the inside line wide open. All the Crippler had to do was reach that before that fourth whistle.
Did I get those backwards? Off by 1, I tell you. That is Small Fry jamming for DC up against Snot Rocket Science. Snot Rocket Science finding that inside line, dropping to the outside of Free Radical, but Gunner down, catches her at the front, but moves. But Snot Rocket Science has enough momentum, takes her to the edge of the engagement zone and gets a free pass. Lead jammer for Steel City.
That was some nice footwork by Snot Rocket Science there. But Small Fry is out. And now it's Free Rad Chinese Checker and gun her down, trying to keep Snot Rocket Science from a full scoring pass.
Doing a nice job taking Snot Rocket Science to the outside. Chinese Checker drops back, but goes out of play, and Snot Rocket Science comes back in. But Small Fry takes advantage of the confusion and gets out of the pack first, picks up full 4 points. Snot Rocket Science able to get out of the pack as well and match those 4 points, so a 0 differential in this jam.
So that's a more victory for DC there, as that could have been a 4-0 for Steel City, but Small Fry's ability to sneak in there and start scoring before Snot Rocket Science could finish her pass made it pretty much a wash at 4-4.
So far this second half, Steel City just treading water right now. They had so much momentum, almost the entire first half, completely dominant, but this time, DC matching almost. I think they're actually still outscoring Steel City, not by a lot, but just DC. You got to be thinking at the bench, they're just wishing that this was the first half.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So in this timeout, it's been charged to Steel City. I want to thank once more the Dr. Hauschka, the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. Also, Sailor Jerry's Rum, stewed, screwed, and tattooed for you. I'm still not really sure what that means. Stewed, screwed, and tattooed.
We'll discuss it at the after party.
Let's do that. And also Rydell, the official skate of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, and Adam Wheels, the official wheel of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Go to adamwheels.com and check out the all-new Juke 2.0. Better roll, better grip, second to none. And if you are in the White Plains area, if you are perhaps in your hotel room with a hangover, later on today, you can check out the sponsors for the White Plains tournament. The Brazen Fox is always fun at the Fox. Ron Black's an endless bar with amazing possibilities. Elements, Food and Spirits, a Manhattan vibe in the middle of White Plains. And the Erico Log Cabin Jeweler an endless bar with amazing possibilities. I'm not sure if that copy matches the store. But the Erico Log Cabin Jeweler, I'm sure, is a fine place in its own right.
Hurricane Heather jamming for Steel City. Roller Rage Rosie back in action for DC, but Hurricane Heather she leaps back and forth, just does a dance around the front of the pack and gets out first for lead jammer. Roller Rage Rosie trapped behind a 2-wall. Damaged Doll and Friction Vixen on point for Steel City, holding back. Gets to the edge of that engagement zone. And, it looks like an out-of-play major, possibly on one of the skaters. That's what it looked like, but there goes Friction Vixen heading to the penalty box. It wasn't clear whether it was Damaged Doll or Friction Vixen, but now Friction Vixen in the penalty box. Free Radical in the penalty box for DC. So for a 3-on-3 pack right now, and that's going to end the jam. Hurricane Heather presumably called off that jam.
Yeah, I think she was out behind DC with lead, so just waited for her to reach the pack and called it 0-0.
Yeah, well, I just couldn't take my eyes off of Friction Vixen. Looks like the Crippler coming in for Steel City up against Sookie Slaughterhouse. 3-on-3 pack right now, but Free Rad in the penalty box standing up, so less than 10 seconds left. And a very slow start right now. Allie McKill and Athena just refusing to move. And, we saw Steel City just take off. But DC obviously may not have learned that trick. I don't know if it could even be called a trick. It's like skate forward.
However, this does work out for DC so far, as Sookie Slaughterhouse has the lead jam status for DC. Meanwhile, everyone seems to be on the side of the track, and now they all re-enter, whereas the Crippler is having some trouble. And as soon as I say that, there she goes up the inside line, and she's out of the pack. And now Sookie Slaughterhouse trying to find a way around Athena. The Crippler, for some reason, not really accelerating right now. She was waiting to see if Sookie would get out, but now she will leave the pack, coming around for her first scoring pass, but a long way to go. Athena has got a lockdown down Sookie Slaughterhouse right now. Big hit by the Bone Crusher. Takes down Sookie, and she'll call from the floor.
Yeah, that's right. Athena and Allie McKill, number 25 for Steel City, on that 2-wall in the front, holding back Sookie Slaughterhouse and keeping her to only one scoring pass on that. But once again, DC still on with a lot of momentum. Do you know what the point differential so far is? Other than that 18-point jam, Steel City has barely even gotten onto the board in this second half.
Well, they started out slow, but in the last few jams they've been picking up some points. I don't know the math for right now, but I think it's still fairly even overall.
But that's in large part to that fortunate for Steel City technical difficulty. But a skirmish line across. Talk about a wall. That's a wall that covers the entire track. All four blockers for Steel City just getting in Small Fry's way, and Small Fry now just not be able to negotiate Athena at all. Athena just all by herself. And there goes the Shocker coming up with a grand slam for Steel City. And by the way, the lead jammer. So the Shocker kind of maybe breaking the trend, maybe breaking the ice for Steel City in the second half.
As of right now, the point differential is the exact same as at the halftime, an 86-point lead for Steel City. So DC has played this half with DC has played this half with Steel City perfectly evenly so far, although right now Steel City is going to extend that by a little bit with a 5-point grand slam for the Shocker, which nobody expected.
You never expect that from the Shocker.
Small Fry is finally out, but the Shocker's coming back on an easy 4 points there. Big jam for Steel City, 9-0.
Well, it looks like DC starting to run into some penalty trouble, which is the same trouble they had in the first half. In fact, we had, I'm sure you recall, we had that one jam where all 5 skaters, including the jammer, were either in the penalty box or owed a penalty.
Yeah.
So, we don't. I know DC does not want that to happen again. They've been playing a little more conservative in this second half, and we haven't seen as many trips to the penalty box until now.
I think Steel City has their biggest lead of the game right now at 100 points.
Well, here we go. Kuda jamming for DC. DC in the red, Steel City in the yellow. We've got Snot Rocket Science at the front of the pack, but gets a big shoulder from Free Rad, and now Gunner down, just cutting her off, slamming the door shut. Oh, here comes Snot Rocket Science, almost falling down, but Damaged Doll literally lifting her back up to her wheels. But Kuda taking advantage of that and getting out of the pack right behind Snot Rocket Science. But Snot Rocket Science did get out first for lead jammer.
It's a little jammer on jammer defense here with Snot Rocket Science. I'm not really sure why, though, because as of right now, Steel City has a huge advantage in the pack. Seems like it'd be better for her just to go for it. But she's going to... Oh, and Soledad hits her from behind. Snot Rocket Science wants a penalty. She's not going to get one. Wow.
Now, that was that... No, it looked like Soledad. Yeah, the other. There she is.
Oh, okay, she does go to the box. It just took a while.
It looked like she was debating whether to go to the box, but yeah, that was a good call. Her right skate came way up. She gave that tremendous hit, and then was obviously off balance so much that her right leg came up almost a full camel. If it was, but backwards.
Right. Yeah, I think the initial hit was legal, but when she went flying and she took down Snot Rocket Science with a flying leg, Snot Rocket Science was displeased about that outcome.
Is that an actual figure skating move, a reverse camel? But that's what it was. Her right leg coming up in the air above waist level, and in addition to taking out Snot Rocket Science, you could see that was clearly dangerous. Although certainly not intentional, just off balance. And so really, Snot Rocket Science well justified in protesting that one. But Soledad paying the penalty in the penalty box.
And now Snot Rocket Science goes up the inside for 5 more points. Big jam for Steel City again, as now Steel City has finally seems to have gotten a few good jams in a row here. That was a 14-0 previously, and now it's just a 10-0 for Snot Rocket Science. So a 24-0 run in the last couple of jams for Steel City.
Soledad still in the penalty box for DC. Damaged Doll in the penalty box for Steel City. So 3-on-3 pack to start out. Roller Rage Rosie lining up the jam for DC in the red. And we've got the Crippler. No, that is Mean Burrito. Mean Burrito, number 89 for Steel City in the yellow.
I take that back as a 14 followed by a 15. So a 29-0 run for Steel City over the last 2 jams. And now Steel City's lead at its largest at 191-80.
That's right. There was an 18-point jam earlier by I think it was Snot Rocket Science, and then that 14, and then followed by a 15. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I'm doing math in my head.
14 and 15.
Carry the 12. No.
So in this referee timeout, we give our one last shout out to the official bruise healer of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, Dr. Hauschka. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. And also DNN's coverage of the East Region Playoffs is presented by Atom Wheels. Check out their new Juke 2.0 at atomwheels.com.
And another sponsor for the DNN broadcast this weekend is Cruise Skate Shop, Derby-owned in San Francisco, with a second location now open in Sacramento, and just in time for Western Regionals, which is happening next weekend. You can find Cruise Skate Shop online at cruzskateshop.com. That's CRUZ skateshop.com.
And I'm sure if you've been watching any halftimes, you've also noticed that Jam City Roller Girls from Frozen Code-based game designers coming out very soon. I believe it's coming out on Nationals time, so I'm sure you've seen the trailers for that. Check the game out. Looks like it's going to be pretty cool.
And if you're ever in Minneapolis, you can check out Derby for All. Derby owned in Minneapolis and ready to serve you online as well at derbyforall.com. That's Derby, the number 4, all.com. Roller Rage Rosie almost gets around Athena, but goes down. Nice shoulder work from Athena, taking down Roller Rage Rosie. We've got Mean Burrito jamming for only the second time, if I'm not mistaken, for Steel City. She's dodging, ducking, and dodging. Gets around battery operated. Hoova Dam almost catches her, but Mean Burrito too fast, but not the lead jammer. Looks like she got a legal passing out of bounds. Is that the term?
Yeah, she did not cut, but also did not pass legally inbounds.
That's right. She passed a skater who was also out of bounds.
A very simple game, folks. A very simple game. That goes 0-0 as DC called it, getting lead second out of the box. Or
That's
out
right.
of the pack, I'm sorry.
That's right, but in order to get lead jammer or to score a point on another skater, for that matter, you must just pass them legally and inbounds. At least the jammer must be inbounds when she passes. The other skater can be out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got Suki Slaughterhouse going up against Mean Burrito doing a twofer. Looked like that one jam wasn't enough for her. She's going to do 2 in a row. Suki Slaughterhouse tries to. Was that a jump across the inside line? But she stumbles and not the back of the pack.
Checker.
Mean Burrito though. Who got Mean Burrito?
It's like a Chinese checker hit Mean Burrito, Friction Vixen. Oh no! An attempted jump from, I think that was Chinese checker. Couldn't quite land it and rolled big, and she looks to be all right, but looked kind of scary for a moment there. And she caught plenty of air and allowed sport court on the way down.
And the pack spread out quite a bit, but Mean Burrito crawling out of bounds to avoid that cutting the track penalty. She managed to hit the deck before she got that major penalty costing a minute in the penalty box. But now she's at the back of the bus, gunnered down, and Condoleezza Slice working that to. Well, now it's a 4-wall, but whereas
no.
Roller Rage Suki Slaughterhouse at the front, and once again, guess who? Friction Vixen doing the honor. Suki Slaughterhouse at the back of the bus.
This is a bit of a failed push from Condoleezza Slice. Pushed her jammer, but not quite past Friction Vixen, and only ended up sending her to the floor.
It's a lot easier said than done. Just get past Friction Vixen. Sure, no problem. Friction Vixen taking Suki Slaughterhouse all the way to the outside, and Suki Slaughterhouse actually kind of slow getting up after that. But not even a big hit. Just Friction Vixen's like, stay down, beep.
Yeah, this is a brutal jam. Mean Burrito has been lead jammer for a while, but she didn't actually escape the pack until just now, and there are only 15 seconds remaining in this jam. Mean Burrito may not be able to get back in time for points.
With Suki Slaughterhouse with her hands full, J-Bomb with some nice shoulder check, and Friction Vixen casually coming in with a follow-up waterfall hit and taking Suki Slaughterhouse once again to the back of the pack. Pack spread out once again, and there's going to be 5 points picked up at the last second, really, by Mean Burrito. So good hustle on Steel City's number 89.
Again, a brutal jam. Mean Burrito needed every single second to pick up one scoring pass. However, 0 scoring pass for Suki.
Small Fry matching up against Snot Rocket Science. And we've got Chinese Checker still in the penalty box for DC. Damaged Doll in the penalty box for Steel City. And so it's going to be 3-on-3 in the pack starting out. Snot Rocket Science versus Small Fry. And, little bit of a stutter start, and referees calling official timeout.
So it looks like in the end, this is probably going to be either the last jam or second last jam. In the end, it's likely that this will be a little bit closer than DC's loss to Steel City last year in the Eastern Region playoffs, but a similar overall score. That year, of course, Steel City won 222-56. Steel City scored a little bit lower this time, and DC scores a little bit higher, but still an overwhelming win for Steel City. Going to be happening in about 1 minute and 36 seconds here.
All right, so not sure what that official timeout was for, but probably just a little bit of bookkeeping, making sure the penalties and such are all accurate. But we've got 3-on-3. No. Oh, that's what it was. Friction Vixen now in the penalty box. So we've got only 2 Steel City skaters in the penalty box. And this time, DC skating away and getting that start, even though Steel City was trying to get that slow start. But Small Fry leaping across the infield and gets out first for lead jammer. Worked out for her that time.
Yeah. I believe Small Fry is wearing some derby skins that makes her hiney shiny.
Snot Rocket Science trapped behind Soledad. Hoova Dam trying to shore up that 2-wall, but Snot Rocket Science putting the move on, getting up the inside of Soledad. But here comes Small Fry, lead jammer, and moving into position for her first scoring pass. Gets escorted up the inside. Battery operated in Hoova Dam, opening up that inside line. And Small Fry's going to call off the jam, but a matching 3. Nice work, Snot Rocket Science just sneaking into the pack. Small Fry calling off the jam, but just a fraction of a second too late, and Steel City able to match those 3 points. 0 differential.
So we've got a timeout for DC. They want to figure out what their setup for this. What's likely to be the final jam here with 40 seconds left on a stopped clock. You can see right now on your TV screen it's Gunner Down, Free Rad, Dr. Scabs, and Potomac Crippler, their bench coach in the red tie, talking it over.
Big thanks to our newest sponsor, Derby-owned 5 Stride Skate Shop, now open to serve you in New York City. Learn more at 5strideskateshop.com. Yeah. 5 Stride Skate Shop actually partially owned by Gotham's own Bonnie Thunders. Bonnie Thunders is one of the most impressive jammers I've seen in the sport to date. You have any opinions on Bonnie Thunders?
I do. I was thinking of watching yesterday and her juking moves where she's a wall of two in front of her and she jukes and they both go separate directions and she goes inside the hole between them. An incredibly impressive jammer. Look at this. If you stick around later on today, Gotham playing Charm City at 2 p.m. in the first semifinal, followed by Philadelphia versus Boston in the second semifinal. The teams that win there will go on to not only the final on Sunday, but also Chicago for the WFPDA championships. The teams that lose will play in the third place game. One of them will go to Chicago. One of them will return home.
Yeah, also partially owned by OMG WTF, another skater for Gotham, formerly from Montreal, I just found out yesterday.
OMG WTF.
OMG. And here comes, that is Free Rad
OMG
for DC.
LJ.
Free Rad breaking out first for lead jammer. We've got the Crippler getting gunned down by Gunner Down. Big shoulder check, taking down the Crippler, and she goes from the front of the pack to the back of the pack. Free Rad gets a hip check from Girl Rolla Warfare. And did I say it right? Finally, I said it right. Girl Rolla Warfare.
Period time has expired. Free Rad has finished the scoring pass, and that's going to be the game, folks. DC.
Indeed. So really nice work by DC. Great effort, but just could not overcome that deficit from the first half. I think Steel City actually still outscoring, but not by nearly the same margin in the second half. So great effort by DC, but Steel City comes out victorious. The ladies in yellow taking a quick victory lap. And any wrap-up? Who do we got coming up next, Justice?
Coming up next is Montreal versus Dutchland. It's a consolation round bout as Dutchland lost to Providence in their first bout, and Montreal lost to Boston in their first bout. Dutchland, I believe, is the 9 seed. Montreal is 6 seed. After 7 games, we're still waiting for the first seeding upset. So far today, or so far yesterday and today, all the games have played out as the seeding going into the tournament would have predicted. So once again, my name is Justice Bogard Marshall. I have been here with
Bulldog.
We'll be back with you later today. And coming up next again, Providence and Dutchland. You're watching coverage of the 2010 WFTDA East Region Playoffs from White Plains, New York on viewer-supported, volunteer-powered DerbyNewsNetwork.com.
Give me my heart, I want it back. Give me my heart back, I want it back. I want it back. Give me my heart back. Give me my heart, I want it back. Give me my heart back, I want it back. Give me my heart back. Grand Slam, Bruce City.